All right. So something new to start this one out. I know we don't usually discuss the picks until the end, but can we talk about the Rick's pick early?
Sure. Although remember that our next pick is a very special Lane's frame.
True.
So, but
Um,
but your
but
next Rick's pick.
because
Sure.
of that very special Lane's frame, I'd like to suggest the next Rick's pick be an animated movie.
Okay. You
Nice.
said that like we haven't done any animated
I
movies
know
before.
we have.
Like several.
Yeah,
Like many.
yeah. I think you'd really like some of the Gundam movies, specifically the really early ones, like the 1970s, 80s. They're pretty reminiscent. I kind of want to say
You're like they're real cinema. Actually, they're like pretty reminiscent of like
I was going to say Rojin Z, and I was like, yeah, to a certain degree, they are. Not as much levity, and they kind of read like a soap opera drama. It's a space drama, right? And like it very much so plays like one. I'm not sure which
What is
one
a
yet.
Gundam? Is it just the big robot?
Yeah, the mobile suit Gundam.
What? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. But what does Gundam mean? Does Gundam mean like the that particular brand of robot?
that's a good question. I think so. I don't know. I've always just referred to them as Gundams. And whenever they like refer to them in this series, like they'll have special names, like the Comet and whatever, but
Sure.
or like the Red
Yeah.
Comet, but they always call it's like a Gundam Mach like 011 or whatever, and then like certain pilots get like customized ones which only they can handle.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I love
They're a
mechs.
speed racer.
They're so cool. Speed Racer is great. Speed Racer is technically a mech.
Well, there you go. Well, he isn't, but his
Well,
car.
yeah.
Is,
I mean, he's piloting a mech, right? Yeah.
the speed racer.
Right.
Yeah. I'm open to it. Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Okay,
You wanna
sweet.
Send me the name of whatever the animated movie is, and I'll add it to the list on Letterboxd.
I still haven't decided which one. I think I kind of want to do. I believe it's called Char's Revenge. But like he's a really cool character.
I've heard of this character.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard people talk about this character before. I don't know any other than like people make what sound like really crazy jokes about this character, but I have no reference point.
Oh,
so.
kid's kind of insane, but like he deserves to be, right? And I forget which movie it is, but like one of them like shows him growing up, and it shows his background and like the political tensions around it. And it's really sick. It's really
Politics
fucking cool.
In my anime?
Yeah, that's pretty much all it is. It's like, it's so funny how well known it is for like the Gundams like fighting and whatnot, right? And then you
Yeah.
watch it, and it's like minimum 60% like a full political drama, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, like sweet. This is what I
Okay,
signed up
I'm
for.
down.
Yeah, cool.
I'm down. Sweet.
So that's what I was talking to Asher about, which is what we were talking
Shout
about.
out Asher.
Shout out Asher. Right before the pod, and segued
Little
into
behind
it.
the scenes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Bring you guys
Yeah.
behind the curtain. You get to see the wizard.
I forgot to. Hey, did you see the trailer for the Wicked movie?
I didn't see the trailer.
Secretly looks good.
Really?
It secretly looks kind of fucking good. Yeah, it actually does. Like our queen aside, it does kind of actually look like a good movie. It doesn't look like slop, if you know what I mean. Like
Right,
it looks.
right.
I'm a little concerned because it doesn't seem to be. I'm not a musical guy, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of like music. Advertising it as a musical in the trailer, which is always a little bit sus. But
Right.
Wonka didn't do that, or Wonka did that, and it turned out fine. So I don't know, but
Was
yeah,
Wonka
you
a
should watch it.
musical?
It looks. Oh
They
yeah,
kept it as music. All right,
Yeah.
sick. All right.
they did. Yeah. More so even than
The
I'd say
Johnny Depp version?
the
Or,
no, probably about on par with the Johnny Depp
Okay.
version, but less so than the '70s Gene Wilder one.
okay. All right.
So, but yeah, it was. I mean, Wonka was good. Wonka
Sweet. Yeah.
fucks. So
I might
yeah,
watch
but
it.
yeah,
That's
the Wicked
Timmy,
movie
right?
looks. It is Timmy.
Timmy Jolly.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, he's good in it. He does a good job. He doesn't just do Gene Wilder, but he does a little kind of he puts some stank on it. It's good.
Yeah, it seemed like he had some stank on it. It was young Timmy T,
Yeah.
or whatever his official rap name was.
Timmy Tim.
Timmy Tim?
Yeah,
Yeah. God bless him.
I'll end the podcast with that clip.
Yeah, it's such a good clip. Oh my god.
So I was setting up some. This is lame as hell. I was setting up a
This is lame
new
as hell.
program at work. It is. It really is. I was setting up a new program at work, and everybody had to like pilot it, and it basically for the managers to like be able to set permissions for certain security things and whatever for like their teams. And
Piloting
I set up
Mobile Suit Gundam. They're pilots.
Yes, I was setting up a
Mobile
Gundam,
Suit Gundams,
for yeah. Fuck, don't dox me. But no. But and I set up a fake user for Timothy Chalamet, so that people could like mess with the permissions without.
Yeah.
And it took everything in my power not to like post in the like group teams for all the managers to be like, by the way, if you haven't seen this YouTube video of him rapping, like, you're ugly as shit or whatever he says. Like he says some crazy. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm fresh as fuck.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
the intonation with it gets me every time.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that kids who have social media at 15 now, like that shit lives forever.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway.
I was gonna say Tom Holland. He did Xbox controller reskins. Wait, you didn't know this? Yeah.
No. What?
He did like a YouTube channel which was like Xbox controller reskins. And
That's cute.
It is, and like it's young Tom, and he's like, hey, oh wait, maybe it's Timmy. No, I think it's
He's
Tom.
British.
I think it's Tom. I'm not sure.
That sounds more Tom Holland. Yeah. For
Yeah,
Sure. Timmy's a little bit too much of like a fratty fuck.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. But he was like, yeah, you know, if you have any ideas, pop them in the comments. I'll see what I can make. You know, in his British way. And I think he was running giveaways on it or something, but he only like ran the one. I've only seen the
Mr.
one video.
Beast? Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't have the same sort of
Nice.
payroll as Mr. Beast, sadly.
Yeah. Right. We want to talk about Timmy Chalamet.
Oh my god, can we? Can we just do a full episode of Timmy Chalamet?
You haven't seen enough of his movies.
Yeah,
You've seen Dune.
I've seen Dune.
That's it?
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
I've been meaning to see Dune.
Yeah. Well, someday when you watch Toon
When I grow up.
Speaking of, same director as the movie we're talking about today on We Want to Watch. My name's Lane.
Which is kind of crazy. My name's Ricky.
It is crazy that your name's Ricky. Yes. So this week it was a Lane's frame. I chose Sicario from 2015, directed by Denis Villeneuve, who we have talked about on this podcast before, and you have some familiarity with outside of just that movie too.
So did he do Incendies as well? I should have checked this
He did.
beforehand.
Yeah,
Okay.
he did.
Yeah.
He did. It's okay. I have come to just come prepared with the full filmography, so that I can be like, remember this movie? Remember? Do you
Remember this one? This was a good
So yes,
movie.
he did Encendi. He also did Prisoners, Enemy, Arrival, and then the two Dune
Arrival,
movies,
yeah.
Blade Runner 2049. So I remember from that episode that you had seen a few of those.
Yeah. Arrival and 2049, Blade Runner. I think were the two. Yeah.
Okay.
Really cool, tense action scenes, as always, right? Kind of expected from him.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of in dire straits. We need to pick a good, like, happy movie again.
Yeah,
I feel
right?
like I've been picking, like, real, like, downers.
Yeah,
Not that
sheesh.
next week is going to be any better, but that's the only way out is through. So.
No, it's tough. You know what? The Gundam is also going to be like a political drama, so it's going to be pretty bogged down, you know?
Yeah, sure.
What do you mean, sure? You're giggling about this? No, it's good.
Yeah.
And there's guys in armored suits fighting in space. Not to keep selling it.
Yeah. But so, were you aware of this movie at all before I suggested it? Had you heard of it? You had, right? You said you had heard, like, it's good.
Yes.
Which is basically my... Yeah.
Nothing else. Like, oh yeah, like Sicario, good movie. Like, watch it sometime. Like, not even like what genre
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
So throwing this on, went in completely blind. Definitely like the movie introduces you to the vibe very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah. We sat down to
It's
watch
fucking
this during
pedal to the
dinner.
metal.
I'm like,
oh no, that's our
I'm
dinner.
like mid-bite of pizza. And we see like the first body in the walls, and I was like, cool, we're gonna pause this for like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we gotta get through this. Yeah.
I was definitely expecting like an action movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is not that.
Not that,
either,
yeah.
Even though it's totally billed as one.
Right.
But, and you think going in, I guess
there is a lot of action. Like, there are action scenes, but it's
few and far between. It's very intense when it is there.
Yeah.
But this whole movie's deal is like, actually, you don't see a lot of that. Like you actually, like, there isn't that, and that's the point. And you're not locked out of it, or like locked out of the story, or like the machinations, just by being locked in with Emily Blunt's character, Kate. Yeah, which I think is not what I was expecting going in, I guess. I knew of this movie beyond just like its basic whatever, like, tagline and who directed it and whatnot. Like, I knew of it as a bit of a divisive movie, or at least had some like some allegations maybe of like, is this movie problematic or whatnot. And I think there are bones to pick about this movie, but I think anybody who thinks this movie is like, actually Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro are the good guys and like the government's doing the right thing, like, I think you need to go back to lit class. But
yeah,
I do think this movie is really, really good.
Enjoyed it a lot more than Incendies for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh, which I actually saw on a Twitter thread recently. It was like,
oh god,
top 10 biggest movie reveals.
Man, fuck that movie.
And it was just the screen cap.
I hope that thread just ruined it for everybody, so that was it the tattoo?
Yes,
the tattoo
yeah, her in the pool
pool?
looking
Yeah.
at the guy with the tattoo, and I was like, oh, all right, like, fucking cool, great. So no one who's like curious could ever watch this movie. I don't know. Sucks, man.
Well, good. Actually, I wrote that thread so
Yeah.
that nobody would ever watch that movie.
It was the first one too. That was like what started the thread. I was like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think that Villeneuve's like sensibilities are way more suited to, like, his directing style is way more suited to this movie than to that movie.
Yeah.
Because this movie is not emotional.
Right.
And he is not an emotional, like, humanistic kind of filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
He is very clinical and even cynical. And in that movie, it's very, like, it's just gross, I think, to kind of, like, deal with that story in particular and, like, generational trauma and things like that with such a clinical view. Whereas this, it's, like, all about, like, U.S. foreign policy and, like, you know, the way that we've funded, you know, terrible people overseas to, you know, what end. I think that, yeah, this just works so much better than that movie does for that reason.
Yeah,
I was
for
thinking
sure.
about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also like the parts that are left out, the sort of like the blacked out parts of like an FOIA document, work much better in this film versus like in the other film. Like in Incendies, there were like a few, I don't know, not inconsistencies, but it felt like with the brother plotline, like things just happened. We weren't really privy to it, but like, I don't know, he underwent like some emotional upheaval, or like maturity, which we just like couldn't see, which would have been far more interesting. But like you said, Villeneuve does not like treading upon the emotional, so he just doesn't play with it at all in there, which is like, I don't know, it really leaves a lot lacking in a film that tries to pull like emotional, gut-wrenching twists out of nowhere. Which, if you haven't heard our pod episode of Incendies, check it out. We want to watch Incendies. Shout out.
Don't watch the movie in case you haven't gotten that.
You can probably
that
just skip
sucks.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that I'm slowly Ansandi pilling you into like thinking that movie's garbage. Because I remember that episode, you were like, "Oh, it's, you know, it's okay. It's got its problems," but now you're like, "It's not that good."
You know, honestly, I'm of two minds about it. Like, I can totally get why people would be like, "Nah, like fuck that. I don't want to watch this shit." And I can totally get behind like not endorsing it and even endorse not watching
reading.
It. Yeah, but on the other hand, like if you're looking for a maybe in over its head action-ish movie with like a bunch of tension, yeah, it's good, right? Like it fills that.
You mean this movie?
No, I think Incendies does.
Oh.
This movie does it a lot better for sure, but Incendies does as well.
Yeah. If you're gonna pick one movie to watch this.
Oh
movie.
yeah, by far.
If you have room in your docket for one Denis Villeneuve between those two. when we first started, when the movie first kind of starts, I thought another comparison you might have made, that I made too, is to Silence of the Lambs. I thought that this movie would have the, one FBI agent,
Right.
one like lady in the, boys club kind of approach, and she's going to save the day and blah, blah, blah. But this movie is like anti that. This movie is like I don't want to give it the credit of saying like a feminist rebuttal to that. But I do think there is a little bit of that, like, oh, actually one like badass woman is not going to save the fucking war on drugs, or like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or like solve everything.
Right.
Obviously that movie is different. That movie is about a serial killer, and that movie's still better than this one, just from like a filmmaking perspective. But I do think this could be read as like a bit of a rebuttal to that. Like, actually the government is often kind of shooting itself in the foot, or actively making things worse, and that's the goal. And one person, no matter how badass she is not going to fix that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it sort of approaches like systemic sexism, like baked into the system, from like a different lens than Silence of the Lambs.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they both are women who have worked themselves to a very prestigious position very quickly,
Right.
right? In a like widely male dominated field, or widely male dominated fields.
Yeah.
But the way that, I mean, and they're both like thrust out of their depth, right?
Totally. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
There's like parallel paths. Like it's very similar with specifically the Clarice character and then the Kate character here, but it's just this movie is much more cynical about like like a woman's place being like revolutionary to the field in general, or like the field that's being discussed, or again, even just one person, period. I kind of, if I were to be very charitable to this, I think it's kind of saying there's no you can't be a feminist and be pro US imperialism,
Yeah.
like that there's no such thing.
Hey, you can't be a human and be pro US imperialism. Fuck US imperialism. Anti shout out.
But no, I still think like at first I was like, oh, is she gonna do the badass whatever thing? And I
Right.
was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of a hollow archetype,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't usually like Emily Blunt very much as an actress. Like sometimes I think she's a little bit. Is this our second or third Emily Blunt movie? Because she was just in Devil Wears Prada. I feel like there was something else. No,
I kind of liked her in Devil Wears Prada.
No, I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I liked her there.
I liked her here too. I think she's a pretty good actress.
I feel like she's. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I didn't like her in Oppenheimer.
Oh, okay.
She
I
was,
haven't seen it.
She was like the wife. Now, part of that's the writing in that movie. I don't like A Quiet Place. I don't like that she's married to John Krasinski.
Oh,
because
okay.
he's a weirdo.
No,
but...
that's valid, actually. Yeah, that's valid as fuck.
But I think she's actually really, really good in this movie. She walks a really fine line of like, kind of doing the Jodie Foster thing of like, I'm playing steely, but you can tell I'm vulnerable. But she is a little bit more like realistically vulnerable, I think, in this movie than Clarice is, or not even realistic, but yeah, I don't know. It just works a little bit more, yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, I guess realistically.
Yeah. I mean, it's also nice that she has someone to confide in, right? Clarice didn't have any like close companions.
That's
so we didn't
true.
really get a lens.
Well,
into
she
that.
does. Yeah.
Who? Am I crazy?
She has the. She's not as prevalent in that movie as Daniel Kaluuya is in this movie,
Right.
but yeah, Casey Lemons plays, like her friend / fellow FBI agent. She's a black lady. She's in the scene where they're like talking toward the end. It's like probably a half hour or so from the end of that movie. They have this like intense conversation in the library where they're figuring out that Buffalo Bill must have known the victim because, or must have known the one lady because of the pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, Daniel Kaluuya.
but yeah, I mean
Kaluuya was like
Kaluuya.
he was all over this film.
Yeah, he was.
So.
I wish he had more to do though.
Yeah,
He's there, but he's not doing too much. I like the little scenes of them talking to each other, but I could have used a little more of that.
You know what? It might sound weird. It's kind of nice. It's kind of refreshing to see like a man be used as a plot device.
Oh sure.
Because like
Yeah.
like especially just in terms of like revealing things to the audience too, because he was the one who was like, hey, like you need to tell us like what the fuck's going down, and like those sorts of scenes, and also like the only one looking out for her when they did like the raid of the tunnels, and like those sorts of scenes, it's like oh, okay, like he's like the audience's voice, I guess. Not really, but like a little bit.
Yeah, I mean the two of them are. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
yeah. Well, and it kind of keys you in, you know, having a like a white woman and a black man. It kind of also keys you into how much of this is sexism, how much of it is racism, and how much of it is just, it doesn't matter who you are, we just needed a couple of FBI agents to seal the deal here. Like,
right.
You know, it kind of, it adds to the confusion almost of like, are they locking them out of things because they think they're incompetent, or is it because of what's greater at play? And it ends up being that. But he's great. I mean, I love to see him in things. Anytime he shows up in anything, he's great. Never seen a bad performance from him.
Yeah, I kind of thought he'd be maybe not more prevalent, but like have more actions, like be more involved in this movie. Guess. Yeah. Which he like kind of is, but he's not taking direct action, which which I mean makes sense. I know, and they like do kind of cut him out of the operation almost. It's like,
but her too,
right?
Because in the end, they're just pawns, right? They're just like literal technicalities to the whole thing, and so it makes sense in a way that neither of them do have any agency in a lot of it, or like that their actions are kind of stymied at each part because they want to do things by the book, and Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro do not. But yeah, it is still like, well, I want to see these two. Like, these are way more, likable at the very least, I guess.
Yeah.
Although I can't lie, Benicio del Toro is really fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
he's crazy.
I was gonna say, like, he may not be the good guy, but like, God, is he good on that screen?
He really
sick.
Is. Yeah. I think he has one of the easiest jobs, or maybe the best jobs in Hollywood. Like, I think just because of the way his face looks.
Yeah.
Like, he's got like such tiny eyes and this heavy brow, and he just always looks like he's like, I don't know, like he could be thinking about a ham sandwich, or he could be thinking about like, ripping a guy's arms off. Like, I just don't know.
He's enigmatic.
And so like you cast him in something. Yeah, you cast him in something and you can't help but watch what he does. And I've seen tons of movies. I mean, he makes a lot of movies kind of like this, like crime thriller type deal. Mm-hmm. And he's always like the, just like a pleasure to have in class, I guess.
Yeah. Are we going to start labeling those two? To get this guy out of here. Yeah. We've got a pleasure to have in class.
Yeah. Josh Brolin, get that guy off the screen. I hated him. Was also a good performance from him. The main like head guy. Yeah, he chewed gum annoying. There's no better way to make a guy annoying than like have him chew gum really obnoxiously on screen.
He kind of reminds me of Matthew McConaughey, I want to say. Maybe it's another Matthew. Maybe
he's kind of doing that energy.
Yeah.
He's
not a fan of Matthew McConaughey.
That's fair, yeah. Josh Brolin probably from a few things. I mean, he's in Dune. He's in Dune 2, right? Is he in the original Dune? He's in both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's also Thanos, obviously. He's in the Old Boy remake that you watched before the original Old Boy, which is so funny. I think about that all the time. That you watched.
I haven't even seen the original Old Boy. He's the main guy in the Old Boy remake?
Yeah, it's only like 2 years before this movie came out.
What the fuck?
Yeah. He plays Joe Doucette in that movie.
That's crazy. Well,
I've never seen that movie. Anyway.
You're not missing much.
Yeah. But no, he's excellent. From the minute, I'm sure that you've encountered this guy before.
Yeah.
The minute that he's introduced, not even before you get to all of the like war crimes and sexism and all of those things, but also the
flip-flops. Yeah.
Flip-flops in the office. You know that guy. I know that guy.
No, it's crazy. The second that like you look around that room, he's clocked, bro. He's the only guy wearing a t-shirt. It's like, all right, what the fuck is his deal?
Yeah. This guy has a double-digit body count for sure.
Yeah,
looking at him. Yeah.
Dude.
He's scary.
Yeah.
He does a good job.
Yeah. And then they pretty quickly after that, like, show you that, like, it's not all just talk, like, yeah, like, there's something up with him, like, there's something up with this entire operation, actually. Like, what the fuck are they doing? When they gun those guys down in the fucking road, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, coming over the border. Yeah, that part is really dark.
Yeah. And the way that, what's her main character's name? I don't even remember. I'm crazy.
Kate.
The way Kate has to react to that, like, the one guy, like, creeping up.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of actually reminiscent of Clarice in Silence of the Lambs, and, like, the way that she...
Oh, totally, because she reacts. Because she actually is like, oh, fuck. Well, she says shit a couple
times.
Like, yeah. Totally.
I think she... I don't know. I think she had a good performance here. Like, an honestly really
good
performance.
I do too.
Emily Blunt. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, it's just some other stuff that I haven't liked her in, but I think I see the vision here with her. So...
how'd you ever end up with a schmuck like Kravinsky?
Kravinsky. You want to try that name again? You want to try that name again?
Kravinsky.
You want to try it a third time?
I said Kravinsky at first. Krasinski.
Yeah, it's
Krasinski?
Krasinski. There you go. Yeah,
okay.
Mr. Jim from The Office himself.
Yeah.
Mr. Quiet Place.
Mr. I got my friends to star in a movie and it's fucking flopping in the box office.
Mr.
Fuck you,
Jack
John
Ryan
Krasinski.
Shadow Recruit. Right? Krasinski. I don't care that he has his friends in a movie. Whatever. That part doesn't bother me.
No, I just kind of don't like... Well, you know what? Honestly, I don't know if I don't like the guy.
I don't like him.
There's something about him, right? Like...
He's definitely a weird... I think he's a weird right-winger. He's like Jack Ryan in the bad Amazon Prime Jack Ryan series. He's in that Benghazi movie. Like, he plays, like... I don't know. He did, like, the pivot from, like, I'm the cute, nice next-door boy from The Office to, like, I'm a fucking, again, war criminal soldier. Like, unironically. Like, it feels like he's done that. And also, A Quiet Place is a bad fucking movie. I know I'm not saying anything revolutionary here, but...
And they made a second one? Or, like, a prequel or something?
They've made a second one, and a prequel comes out in, like, 2 weeks.
Crazy. So. Wow. They just keep pumping that shit out.
The prequel I'm more interested in. I'm more interested in the prequel just because I don't think he's involved. But now I'm looking at the Quiet Place letterboxed page.
Now, who does Jack Reacher? Because I know he's not a right winger. Like, I've seen, like, posts that are like, oh, like, the guy from Reacher, he's distinctly not right wing. Like, he fucking hates these guys that look up to him.
No, not Jack Reacher. Did I say Jack Reacher? Jack Ryan.
No. You said Jack Ryan. I'm saying who is the guy from Jack Reacher? Because, like, it's just funny that, like, I don't know. It's funny to see like two sort of, I guess, conservative icons.
Isn't that Tom Cruise? This is not. No, Reacher. Wait, okay. Jack Reacher is a movie. With Tom Cruise.
I'm thinking of the Amazon Prime
it's
show.
Also I was gonna say there's also a TV show called Reacher from a couple years ago. I don't know.
And who is that guy?
That is not my bag. Like the guy who wrote it?
No. Who plays Reacher?
The guy, Alan Richson.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sure. I heard about this guy in the news because he said something like, he was like, "Fuck people who think this show is pro-military or something." I think I heard about this. Yeah. Sure. I mean, yeah, good for him. I just
think it's funny.
I'm like venturing way outside of my depth with like action and TV. Like you're I've got both hands tied behind my back here trying to talk about those two.
Fight for my life.
Well, I was going to ask, what do you make of the violence in this? Besides, it's scary and brutal.
How do you mean outside of it scary and brutal? Like, it's...
I guess I'm thinking, like, I guess I think this... I have a few, like, storytelling... I have, just a handful of nits to pick about this movie, and one of them is that the violence feels so unempathetic and so... like just brutal to what end, I guess. And I get that that's definitely the point. And like I said, I think this works here better than it does in Ensemble, but it does still feel gratuitous and like they're just rubbing our noses in it. Which, you know, I get it, I guess. It's always a little bit like, oh, you know, you're just trying to drive home that this is brutal and this is a brutal whatever cartel and a brutal industry, for lack of a better word. But I don't know, it just feels a little hollow, doesn't feel earned.
I feel that, especially with Cecilio near the end. Cecilio? The police officer? What was his name?
Silvio, I think.
Silvio.
Let me double check.
Yes.
If that's true.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, who's...
I don't know.
Susudio?
I'm just getting different names. Yeah, I'm getting random names.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta stop trying.
No. You're doing great.
No, I'm not. But anyway, like, especially his death right near the end. Like,
yeah.
The one guy who like tells him to drive, and then he's like, "What you're doing now, you're doing for your family," and like,
yeah,
I don't know, just crazy.
Yeah. You know what that reminded me of,
Hmm.
and I think was done worse. That like, and it reminded me of Heat. Where Dennis Haysbert, I can't remember the character's name, but where he is shown like he gets out of prison, he goes to this shitty job, he's like, you're building this story with him, with his wife or his girlfriend, and then he just gets wasted, you know, as like a casualty of this thing that's bigger than him. This does that. This movie does with that character. Where, I mean, the moment that it's like, oh, this isn't like the cop that they're going to be interacting with regularly. Like, oh, this guy's totally dying, just like completely unceremoniously in the third act of this movie. You know, you can kind of see it from a mile away, especially like, oh, he has a kid. Like, his kid sees him drink. Like, but yeah, so I go ahead.
I thought he was tied up with the cartel, and a part of me kind of hoped that, because I was like, at least then it'd be like justified, somewhat justified.
Well, he was.
Oh yeah, because
he was.
Oh yeah, because he was at the because he was at the tunnel. Right. My bad.
Yeah, but no, I mean.
But still.
Yeah, you still wish like that he had done something almost to like deserve
to
die, like
right.
It's, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just feels like a cheap, kind of like emotionless way of dealing with that character. To just be like, oh, and he does have a wife and a kid. Remember, don't forget these people are all humans.
Yeah, and then we see them at the end again. It's like, all right, cool, great.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
thanks.
It's hollow. I just again like I feel like it's not sincere, you know, whereas in Heat, like, you really feel for that guy. You know, you really, like, you're dealing with the aftermath in a way that's much more, like, visceral, whereas this is just like, well, his kid sees his empty bed, and who knows what happened.
Right.
It's kind of...
So...
Yeah. But, I mean, maybe the point.
Yeah. Just with how brutal and uncaring, like, the American imperial system is, the way that, it handles people, not as people, and coming back to how the violence in this movie is portrayed, like looking at Heat, right? There's also a shootout in a public area, on roads, right? A lot of people around,
a lot of cars,
a lot of cars, and like the way the violence is handled is so different. So, and even like watching people die in Heat is like much more visceral. Like you're there, right?
Yeah. It also feels, I don't want to say like operatic. That makes it sound good. Like it's portrayed in a positive way, but it really feels tragic there. Whereas this just feels like, oh, it's another day in the life, which like, again, is the point, but it does still, I don't know. It makes my skin crawl to watch a movie like that. In general. I don't know. I say this as somebody who loves a horror movie. Like I love fucked up shit in horror movies, but it just, you know, that's to a different end.
Right.
I guess.
Right. It's also how like removed the violence is and how removed the people who are committing the violence are. Because like, I mean, we see them before and after, and like, there's like a lot of times they're just like talking shop, right? Like it's like this is just a job, but they're not afraid to bullshit a bit, right? Because like end of the day, it's like this is just like their fucking 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. I guess just getting my bones to pick out of the way here, because I do think this is still an excellent movie.
Pick these nits.
I think this is at the peak of that, like in Mexico everything is yellow. cinematography style, like. And I'm not sure if it like set the trend or like kind of put the dot on the I or like what it is. But yeah, it just that I don't think at the time it was probably as like stereotypical and eye rolly and like whatever cliche. But watching it now, almost 10 years on, it is like, oh, yep, everything sure is sepia here.
When I watched it, I was like, oh, they did the Breaking Bad thing. But it's not nearly...
Yeah, that's true. Breaking Bad does do it. Yeah. Breaking Bad's really bad about it.
It's not nearly as bad as Breaking Bad's. Breaking
no.
Bad is... It's yellow.
Yeah.
Like, Mexico is yellow.
Yeah.
Which is, like, really funny.
Yeah,
but, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I love that.
No. I mean, that's like a tried and true trope, for sure. And so, but this movie is also beautiful in a way that a lot of movies that use that kind of trick are not. Like this, the cinematography here is gorgeous. There's the scene toward the end when they are first ascending toward the tunnel, and it's like sunset, and the soldiers kind of like go below the horizon just because they like fade into darkness, and then the sunset is above them. That looked really, really, really good.
It's
really
sick.
Striking.
Yeah.
But to what end? Again, it's like it's beautiful. Like some of the cities are shot really pretty. Pretty is a funny word to use for this movie, but like, striking.
This might sound crazy. Even the scenes of violence, like the way that they're framed, you're not like.
Ooh, yeah.
Again, like a lot of times, like to build tension, you'll be like in the car with like the guys who would like, like I'll say the victims of this, right? Because they are.
Yeah.
But like when it takes place, you're always outside of it, and like from like that like third person observer.
Yeah, you're removed for sure.
Right, but like watching the glass shatter, and like I'm not gonna say that like the violence is like artistic there, right?
I think it is, which I mean is its own ethical problem, right?
Right.
Of like how
because it could almost be said like after that when they first get to the like detainment center where they're interviewing quote unquote the one guy,
just straight up waterboarding that guy or something.
Sorry, that just took me out of it for a sec. It's so fucking
it's all
crazy.
Good.
A haunting shot of that drain too. When he like brings in the 5-gallon water, and they said earlier in the scene they were like, "Oh, you're filling his belly full of water," almost in like a joking manner. I don't even want to think about what they did to get these words out of him, but but yeah, right before that, like when they first pull into the compound, I was like, "Oh, this movie's like glorifying violence," like just because of like I don't know, the emotional impact of that scene really just comes down to how like surgical they are about it, and how it was just like, oh well, like tough luck, we got stuck in traffic, and we had to do what we had to do.
Yeah, in and out.
Yeah,
they called it that. They called it in and out. So
but you get like like there's a shot right before they cut to that, right, where it like pans like from the one of the cars that gets shot up, it pans behind to like the people like right in the car behind him, like, and it might even be the car to the side, like looking around and sort of like peeking over. I mean, just imagine that, right? Like, imagine that happening like I-95, like 7 p.m. horrible traffic. That shit happens out on the roadway. What the fuck, man? Like,
right? Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and the implication is that they even make the offhand kind of comment like, "Oh, it's going to be on the national news. Every newspaper."
This isn't even going to make Tampa.
It's not even going to make the El Paso.
Oh, El Paso.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah, it was Tampa.
Famous Texas city. Tampa. But yeah, it's really dark, and I do think this movie does a good job seeding the idea of like, these are, guys you should not trust, and they actually are not going to have a good ulterior motive in the end, pretty early on like that. So, the idea of like propping up bad people to defeat worse people, and like the references when they first start, I don't remember who reacts first to Del Toro's character and says like Medellin, like when they're scared. I think it was Guillermo, the guy who gets waterboarded, but I don't remember who it was first, but I was like, oh, okay, this is like totally about like Iran Contra, like drug running in Colombia, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's gross. Yeah.
think it was the guy that recognized him in the detention center when he goes to get water.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. Ooh. Yeah.
And it makes that, like, once you learn about Alejandro's like family, like it makes that conversation they had so much more loaded. You know, when he like asks them about like, oh,
Totally.
like how you doing? You got kids now? Where are they? Like it's like, oh yeah, sheesh. Like it's a tough concern to have.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah. My last thing, again, and I have other notes that aren't just gripes, but I don't like that in the third, or like the climax of this movie, we suddenly switch to that character's point of view for like 15 minutes. Like I get that, like that's the climax, right? I think pretty definitively, it's like him kind of just killing that family and the guy who killed his wife and daughter, but like it doesn't make sense. It's the only time that we really pivot to somebody else's point of view. It's a weird, it feels almost, and this is what, like, this kind of ties to the, like, what is this movie doing with violence? We don't need that scene. We could be delivered that information another way from Emily Blunt's perspective. And so it just feels like, oh, are we just getting the cool, scary, violent scene to, like, get your heart pumping one more time before the end of the credit? You know, because, like, right from there is when we go to him in Emily Blunt's apartment. And so, I don't know. It just feels a little questionable. Like,
yeah, especially I feel like in a lot of revenge stories, and I mean maybe this is like an emotional thing, which like isn't being worked here. Like they try to show like the like revenge is like a burning desire, and then afterwards people are just empty, they're hollow because they don't really have anything to chase, and we just don't see that with him, right? Like before it, he's
right, yeah, he's like still on,
right?
Like he's like
he's a Terminator mechanical robot, like this is what he's doing, and then he pulls it off, and it's like, all right, well, I got to go get the signature, like back to work, which kind of takes away from it a little bit for me, at least. I also, this might be like a weird gripe, but I thought it would be Kaluuya's character that bursts in on Emily Blunt and the one friend that like he had introduced her to.
John Bernthal.
Right. Yeah. I thought that was going to be him, not Alejandro.
I did too. And I was like, why is he in here? Oh, he's watching her. Oh, this is like, she's in way over her head.
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah.
I guess it's supposed to just feed into the, oh, she's in way over her head thing.
Well, and right after that, she says like, well, you used me as bait. And then they were like, well, you used yourself as bait, but here we are. And like, then they, beat the shit out of him to get, information.
Right, which is again kind of why I would have.
They let it happen.
Right, they did let it happen.
Yeah.
But like I would have liked like the gunshot, especially if like they knew it was happening. Right, like they didn't have to wait that long, and especially like that long after the gunshot. Right, because there's like 2 minutes of them struggling. Fucking scary too. Right, like when she was being strangled on the ground, and then like it's suddenly like we get the camera shift to her. I was like, oh, fuck.
And she's just like looking up at the light.
I was like, yo, what the? Like, I thought they were going to do a narrator change there. And I was like, that's fucked. Yeah. Like, this is just insane.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a little gratuitous, but I don't know. That's,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Yeah.
But to have like Kaluuya's character come in there and then like, I don't know. Because I assume they're living like on base or that wasn't really established.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm way off base with this. Maybe that would be the truly contrived way to go with it. I don't know. But then like still have the guy like have him like sort of detain him. They're like calling the police or something, and then they show up and they're like, oh, like you don't have to do that. Like call your boys off, that sort of thing. Yeah. And then they're like seen beating the shit out of him, and then it's like, oh, like you still get the same like, oh, like she's in way over her head. But you also get a little bit of like, at least there's someone here looking out for her. Like there is someone that she can still trust, which we do get later.
Especially because it was his friend,
scene. Right?
So
right.
Like for a minute, I was like, oh, is like he in this?
Right.
Like is he? But obviously that's not true. But it just a lesser movie would do that. But
right, yeah. Like a lesser movie would do that, and like you definitely don't have to. That would be truly gratuitous. Yeah, like getting into that.
Yeah.
But like the scene afterwards where they're talking about it, and she's like, "Whew, that was your friend," and he was like, "Yeah, guess it could be anyone, you know."
Shit happens.
Shit happens, truly.
And then he's like, "Do you want me to stay the night?" And I'm like, "Go away."
Yeah.
You don't need. You come back in the morning.
And like,
take a shower.
Again, that like would have made more sense to me if like he was the first responder, right? And like there had been that like emotional like he breaks in, like he like detains the guy off of her, while she's sort of like there by herself, and like he does that like respectful like, "Hey, like, do you need me to stay here? Like, do you need your space? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
I don't know. I like maybe it's just not working the emotional angle. Maybe that just would have been too clunky to work in. Whatever. But
yeah. I feel like John Bernthal gets the shit beat out of him a lot and stuff. Like, I feel like I've seen quite a few things where he just gets his shit rocked. I don't know. I mean, the fact that they do like a criminal assault level wet willy on him, like, is crazy.
What was the wet willy?
Was
there something in his ear outside of just the finger?
No, he just shoved his finger in his ear.
Okay.
Like, he was just, I mean, think of how painful that would be to like have somebody yeah, oh my god. But yeah, I feel like I've seen a lot of him getting his ass beat in various things, which is an interesting, you know, he was like a boxer or an MMA guy or something, right?
Yeah.
So interesting.
He's got the cauliflower ears for it. Does he play the Punisher?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay. That's probably where I know him, because I've seen some of that and like some of the crossover.
I've seen the GIF of him.
No.
Yeah. I've seen that a lot. And for a minute when I was watching this, I was like, "Oh, is that from?"
Are they gonna tie him to a chair?
Yeah,
that would actually be kind of.
But then I looked it up.
Yeah.
Afterward, I was like, "Where's this from?" But yeah.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like he had the shit beat out of him in that scene too. They play around a lot with like his emotional demons and like them like beating the shit out of him. So yeah. So I feel like that's where the idea of like, oh, this guy's always fucking
let's beat this guy up. Yeah. Comes from. Yeah, probably. The score in this, when those black SUVs first start driving toward the border into Juarez, like in the beginning, in the first time they go before the like border standoff scene, the score, the like, I can't even do it, but like that sound, I don't know if this is the first movie to do that. I know Arrival was kind of similar.
Love
like
Arrival's soundtrack.
Less scary.
Yeah.
But
still imposing.
The thing I always think of when I hear that, it's scary. Have you ever seen the movie Life with Jake Gyllenhaal?
No.
It's an alien sci-fi movie. It's trash. We'll never talk about it on this
podcast.
But it's really good though. It's dumb.
Okay,
but it's
I might
good.
watch it
it's
sometime
good,
then.
Fun, stupid. You should. It has. Oh, sorry, my water drinking app just went off. If the mic picked that up, that's
yeah, I thought you were like pouring water real quick, and I was like, "Damn, wow!"
Really, you heard it? Oh no!
Like you looked so casual with it too. I saw just like the hand go out. I was like, "Shit, wow, that's like precise water control there."
I am a really good pourer from my time as a barista.
Oh,
so,
okay, hell yeah.
But no,
I can't say the same.
That movie does. Were you a barista ever?
No, I just you've seen me pour, so.
Have I?
Yeah.
I mean, I like just
like very
gut instinct.
drunk,
yes,
but...
I bet you are very clumsy.
Yeah,
I was gonna say. Anyway,
I'm not clumsy as a
Life.
Normal person.
You're pretty clumsy.
As a normal human being? No. When have you ever seen me drop something? Or trip?
I have totally seen you drop something.
Never.
All right, we're moving on.
And like not catch it?
To the point I was making. Oh my god, you're so cool. You should play hacky sack. This movie Life.
Oh, hacky sack right now, bro. Don't make me.
Can you show me again? What was that?
It's not a real hacky
Is
sack.
It a cow?
It's a little cat. It's a little calico kitty cat.
Oh, it's cute.
But it's got the consistency of a hacky sack.
Don't kick it. No, no, Ricky, don't.
He's so cute.
This movie Life. It's an alien movie.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Spoilers. Go watch it. It's really good. Okay. It's not really good. It's dumb trash, but it's like a fun.
Still
movie.
watch it.
And it has the same kind of like droning, like like kind of like siren, like dark sirens. I don't even know.
Dark sirens. I like that. Yeah. It's like a synth, right?
Yeah. My dark academia. My
I'm
dark
dark
EMS.
siren maxing right now. You just wouldn't get it.
Shut up, Lucy, who does not listen to this show. It does that too, but
Shut up, Lucy.
it's way
Doesn't listen.
heavier handed.
Dune does that.
So
They're
I
like,
don't know, hearing it. Yeah, but it's not as like ominous in Dune. In Dune,
Yeah.
it's more it's still ominous, but it's
it's a
like
ship
little
noise.
bit more,
It's like a
wondrous.
mechanical noise too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I would hear that
Yeah,
walking into
yeah.
work. I would like the fans going off and like the
Yeah,
they get like a resonance between each other, and it's like a it's like a much lower frequency than what they're running at. So it's like a and like. It's great. That's like a comfort sound to me. I love hearing. Whenever I hear it in like a movie or something, I'm like, oh, I'm home, man. Like,
shout out News from Home.
Yeah.
This is We Want to Make Sounds Into the Mic. No, but yeah, so hearing it used more subtly here was almost more scary.
Yeah.
I mean, just it's a scary sound in general, but then just like the ominous, like during the tunnel scene, they start playing it when the cop is like the Mexican cop is literally driving into a storm.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
it's so sick. Oh man.
There's no subtext there. Like that's yeah.
I
There's
know
also
artists
when
that
she,
use subtext, and they're all cowards.
What's that from?
Tim and Eric.
Pretty sure no, actually. I'm pretty sure that's from Garth Marenghi.
Fuck. I think it's from Tim and Eric. Let me.
I could be wrong, but I feel like that's the Garth Marenghi guy.
It is Garth Marenghi.
Damn. Anyway, no, but when they first get back from I believe it's from the tunnel scene. Or not the tunnel scene. I'm sorry. When they first get back from the highway scene. She's like arguing with him like, I am not a soldier, like we have boundaries, there's jurisdiction here, we have to do things the right way, like I'm not going to kill people, like civilians indiscriminately. There's like an American flag in the background. I'm like, okay, like again, I don't hate it necessarily, but it is a little bit like, all right, I get it, like okay, yeah. we're making a comment on the US here. But it's yeah,
at the same time, like I can totally see A, why people would watch this movie and be like, that's fucking sick, I want to do that. And B, like, why there would be a maybe larger, hopefully larger demographic of people who watch this and go, oh, this is going to encourage demographic A that I just described, right?
Right.
And they're going to be like, say the exact same thing that I said, but like, oh, it just encourages people to be like, hell yeah. Right. I want to go down to Mexico and fucking shoot the cartel myself. That's sick as fuck. And it's like, I don't know. When it's kind of clearly supposed to convey the opposite, even if it's showing the violence in like a very clinical way. It's still like, these are not good guys. They're not good people. You do not want to be them. It's not badass what they're doing. This is deranged, and even like his revenge is.
It's. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the words. Like, I almost want to say petty. I mean, definitely deranged, psychopathic. The way he tells him to eat to like finish his meal at the end there, and like, there's like a 20-30 second interval before he shoots him.
Right, where it's just his face, and he's just watching him not eat, presumably. Yeah. Of all the things to do, he like totally lays out all of the security and the bodyguards, and then not the maid. And I was like, I'm John Wick brained or something, because I was like, oh, this maid definitely has like a gun and is gonna shoot him before he gets to the family.
Like as he walks past, she pulls it as an ankle holster.
But no, that scene is, again, I have problems with it just because it does feel so out of place. Not the violence, even just the perspective shift to him. I feel like it could have been less of an action scene, kind of like a traditional like revenge thriller-y thing, if it had just been relayed to Emily Blunt in like a couple of quick little cuts like as a flashback almost, when he's talking to her, like, you know, and being like, sign it, you have to sign this, you're gonna kill yourself if you don't sign this.
Yeah.
You know, if she had been like, I can't do this, like, don't you care about your family or something, and then he kind of like explains, I feel like that would have made more sense and been more kind of tasteful is not the right word, but like less gratuitous.
Yeah.
Because the way it is, it's just it just feels like it's just like driving the, you know, the screw, I guess.
Right. Honestly, it would have been cool to see it as like a series of flashbacks, like the entire, like all of his narration. I feel like you maybe don't need to start seeing it from his point of view, but like if you did a sudden shift to his point of view, but it's him as he's like walking up to her door and then like going into that scene, and then it cuts back like a few times, so like they try to like mirror it so like you could see him driving, and like it's like very clearly not in Mexico. It's like him driving up to her place, and then it like cuts to him driving with the police car. So you like sort of had these like weird little like interspitions of tension, I guess.
Have you seen No Country for Old Men? Remind me.
No.
Okay. There's a sudden kind of similar. What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
Oh, clips, but not it. Yeah.
Yeah. You have like a sudden kind of character shift in that movie too, but it's I don't know, it's handled much better, I guess. And so I kind of was trying to think of like, is there another movie that does that that I can think of kind of in this way, where it's kind of shifting to a much more fucked up kind of amoral or you know, psychopathic kind of character, and have it not be, you know, jarring. That one comes to mind. I'm trying to think if there's another one that I like. I feel like horror movies do that sometimes, where it's like, well, you know, so and so, they got killed, so now we're on to the next one.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the whole point of this movie, I think it doesn't work for me, just because you're left in the dark the whole time, and then suddenly you're not in the dark anymore. You get to see this like firsthand, and obviously it's still like he's not doing anything, you know, for the good of whatever humanity, obviously. Here, like he's not, you know, the greater purpose isn't shown. Still, it's still just like a low level crime, right? It's just like a guy killing another guy. And obviously we all know he's only working with the CIA because they want to consolidate everything into the Colombian drug cartel, like she says, like, oh, to get rid of the competition.
And because
so
they can control it, at least according to them. Right.
So I guess I kind of see, maybe I'm talking myself into liking it more. I guess I kind of see like the need to show that it's just low level violence for selfish, pointless ends, but
right. It's also the only like emotion, really, like that is like the climax of the film.
It's the most emotional, death for sure, or deaths.
Right. Which is like kind of maybe not a good thing, but like it's nice that we at least see something, right? Like it's at least personal to someone. Like this isn't all for nothing, right?
Right.
And like I don't know. You can't like paint a kingpin or like, because I mean this guy's like Godzilla of this movie, right? Like you can't talk about Godzilla the whole movie and then like not show him for like at least a couple minutes at the end, right?
When they first start doing the like they drive to the tunnel, and they play that sound, the like droning sound, I turned to and I'm like, oh, we're going to meet Godzilla now. Like
it's a good comparison though, right? Like
it is, he is the monster of this movie for sure. But then he's just some guy, you know, dressed in like a white button up. Like it is kind of like, oh damn, this sucks.
Which is, you know, it's great to, that's like the message of it though, right? Like it's all low level violence. They're all just some guy, right? And like he even says it kind of, maybe not tongue in cheek, but like it's like, hey, like you think the people sending you were any different? And it's like, at the very least, like this guy isn't being sent. He pursued this path, right? And it's like, well,
but is it any better than state violence? You know, he does kind of make a good point of like, oh, they're doing the same thing that they did with the Mujahideen or whatever, like back in, you know what I mean, in the 80s. Like it's the same.
Shout out to the brave Mujahideen fighters of Afghanistan.
You want to do another take of that where you say the whole word so that?
Ooh, which?
Mujahideen.
Mujahideen.
Mujahideen. Yeah. Do you want to just read the screen grab
I
from
need to
Rocky
I need to look
2
it up.
or whatever it is.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
Rocky. It's
Shout
is
out
it
to the
Rambo?
brave Mujahideen fighters of Afghanistan.
I'm gonna leave that all in there.
No, please cut the earlier one.
I will. I won't, but
I meant no offense by it to any of our listeners.
who are the
What?
Mujahideen?
Well, if anyone was a part of the Mujahideen, right?
Okay, I'm looking at the writer of this because I know that he, Taylor Sheridan, has also directed, written and directed other things. Did you see Hell or High Water? I feel like that's a movie you might have seen.
No.
It's a Western. No? Okay.
No.
I think he's also, according to Wikipedia, been big in Yellowstone. The shout out Kevin Costner.
Shout out Kevin Costner. Shout out
Do we have,
Yellowstone,
like-
the park.
Do we have guys
Shout
on
out
this
the guys.
podcast?
The guys?
Do we have guys? Like, does this podcast have like certain patron saints? We haven't really like established anybody as like a, like who, like, I mean, other than the obvious maybe.
No, I don't think so, Lane.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, in the beginning we were going to like brand around Kurt Russell, remember?
Oh, we should have done that.
Yeah. How much better would that have been, you know?
Actually, bet he doesn't have that many good movies.
We would have watched The Thing for at least the fourth time by now, right? Like...
That would have been a great. We really should have actually.
Yeah. Well.
Damn. Have you ever seen this Santa Claus movie he does? He's like old Santa.
What the
These
fuck?
are like movies
No.
that come out in like the last couple. These are like movies from the last like 5 years.
Is it like a happier?
He's kind of. Yeah, it's like a Santa movie. Like he's like playing good. Like he's not like a dark, edgy Santa. He's just like. He kind of looks like Santa now. Like,
just to look into my dark, twisted reality. What were you gonna say? He's kind of.
So
say it. I saw
anything else that you want to say?
What were you gonna say there, Lane? To finish
He's
that
kind of
thought.
cooking. He's kind
okay.
of
Okay. All right.
That's definitely all I was going to say about this.
Oh yeah. You know who else
there's
is
a second
cooking?
one.
Our boy Jesse
Goldie Hawn
Plemons.
is in it. Yeah, shout out Best Actor at Cannes, Jesse Plemons.
Shout out Best Actor.
He's gonna get. I haven't seen that movie, so I'm not gonna call it too hard. However, it would be really cool if he got a Oscar nom. Best like lead actor. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Coming back to Sic-ario. When she's like, I have to know. When Daniel Kaluuya's like, bro, let's quit. They can't do this if we're not here. Like, let's just quit. And she's like, I have to know. I have to know. Like, girl, you do not need to know. Like, you need to leave is actually what you need to do. And then at the end, when she's standing there almost like a little kid, which I think is good, when she punches Josh Brolin and, you know, he's like, you're just a pawn, basically, like, whatever. She's like standing there and she's like, I'm going to tell on you. Like, I'm going to say everything I saw here and I'm going to talk about how...
Yeah.
I'm like, they will kill you. They will kill you and throw you into this tunnel and, like, seal the deal. And you're like, shut up.
That's honestly what I thought was going to happen there. When he was
I did too.
Because it was like, stop it, like, stop. And a part of that makes me think that, like, maybe he was trying to, like, protect her. He was like, hey, stop now. Like, don't make
That's
him
true.
a scene. Like, to try to avoid,
They'll
like,
kill
bringing
you.
attention to, like, everyone else here. It's like, hey, like, listen, like, you can throw a tantrum. You can, like, be mad at me, right? But, like, don't let these fuckers know, right? Like, we just got done laughing about this, you know?
Yeah. And then at the end, like, there were several times when she really did feel like she was in danger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I guess I give this movie props for its violence in that way, and that I really did feel like she was. I mean, Del Toro shoots her like. Like instantly, you know, when he's like basically like as she points the weapon at him, like it just it's done.
Yeah.
Like
without regard. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah. A lot of that.
Especially after we see the scene where like she's being choked, right? And like the like viewpoint changes. It's like, oh, okay, like fucking all bets are off then like shit.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe that's a direction they could have taken with this. Like if Alejandro had killed her, and then like trying to deal with the fallout of that.
Yeah, sure. I don't think there'd be any, right? They'd just cover it up and say she got hit and fire and
right. But then they have to like sign on Kaluuya and like
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to maybe play around with that, and it would also make the narration, like viewpoint change, make a little bit more sense, I guess. It'd probably ruin the movie. That'd probably suck shit, you know. But I don't know. It's a fun idea to think about.
Speaking of what sucks shit, this is my one CinemaSins thing. When someone goes to a bar in a movie and they're like, "I'll have a beer," I kind of hate that. I kind of actually hate when people say it. Like, give me a beer. Like, I went to a bar a couple weeks ago and I was like, "I'll have a margarita," and then the bartender's like, "Cool. Like, what tequila do you want?" I'm like, "This is too many questions. Just get like, I just want a margarita." Like, yeah. So the thought of being able to go to a bar and just be like, "I'll have a beer," not like a draft beer even, or like, you know, just like give me whatever beer you want. Like, what's on sale? Like,
beerless beer. Yeah.
Potion seller.
Potion seller. My beers are too beer for you, adventurer. Beer seller, I need your beerless beer. We should watch some other directorial debuts of that guy.
Did you see Challengers?
I didn't see Challengers. No,
he didn't direct Challengers, but he wrote Challengers. But yeah, Challengers
he wrote the screenplay
is good
for it. Yeah. I mean, another screenplay out of the park by that guy, right? Like, let's be real. What
are you talking about? What's his
what?
I think that's. Oh, you mean that in the Potion Seller video?
Yeah. Duh. What do you mean?
I'm sorry. I thought I was.
What other masterpieces?
Made another movie.
No.
Yeah, he's got 2 for 5 for 5s, or 2 5-star masterpieces. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, what else do you have to say? What do you make of the ending? I was definitely rooting for her to shoot him on the balcony. I was like, do it. Like, Chris and I were standing there, like, shouting at the TV, like, do it. Pull the trigger.
But
that of course she couldn't.
Right, it would make her victory as hollow as, like, the violence that came before it, as the violence that she's committing in that act. Like, when you were talking about that earlier, I was gonna mention it, but I was like, yeah, I'll hold off. Like, let's wait till the end to sort of discuss it. But it would just, and like, again, that's the thing. It would wrap up his storyline a little too neatly, right? Like, he gets his revenge, and then he's like brought to justice. Too neat. At least now you kind of like, it's not like, oh, you know, like, he's out there, right? But like, you get that like lingering feeling like, oh, his story's not done. Like, he's still out there. Like, these random acts of violence are still occurring. Like, that the leader that he killed is just going to be replaced by someone else. Like, this has changed functionally nothing.
But they're wolves, Ricky. Don't you understand? They're the wolves, and you're not a wolf.
Yeah,
you're not an alpha like I am, a Sigma Alpha based wolf.
True, yeah. He's been on the YouTube pipeline a little too much recently. on those long drives back and forth from Mexico.
He's just got the
scrolling the YouTube. Yeah. He's got
like,
YouTube
I don't know,
shorts
this We Want to Watch podcast seems a little bit too
a little too limp for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that we took it in different directions. I'm like calling our podcast misogynistic. You're like, we're liberals.
Listen. You want to try oh fuck. You want to try leaving the game, you know? You want to try letting letting this shit die, you know? But you can't anymore because of Coke, right? 20 million people in the U.S. addicted to it. Don't they? The one guy says that
20%. He says 20%.
20% of the population of the world. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like this is.
I doubt. Doubt. Press X to doubt.
Maybe if you work for. That's the
bleep it, bleep that, bleep that.
I will bleep it. Anyway, but no, yeah, I think any movie that can get me invested enough to be shouting at the TV at the end like that is a good movie. I like when that happens, where I'm like, don't fuck, shoot him, do it, just do it. It's easy.
And that's kind of where the emotion comes from in this film, right? The tension, you know, it's like purely just like,
tense.
Like nervous tension. So yeah, I like it.
It's a good movie.
Good watch.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it and you're listening, shame on you for listening to this whole podcast, which we
this whole time.
The whole thing.
Yeah, this whole time. Like, you never once paused. This is crazy.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, do better, watchers.
Wannabes.
Really good movie. Makes me kind of understand, because I think this movie is a little bit more what am I trying to say? Like, if I'm looking at Villeneuve's, like, filmography, I feel like this is, like, a turning point for him. Because before this, he did Enemy and Prisoners, and then Incendie, Polytechnique. And ever since this movie, he's made, like, sci-fi movies. Like, he's done Arrival, Blade Runner, and then the 2 Dune movies. So I feel like this movie's kind of like a turning point where he is like, oh, maybe I don't have to make, like, human stories.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I can do like thematic, like, things that don't require human subtext. And I think, and I have not seen Blade Runner, so I don't know. But I'd be open to watching that with this context of this movie and kind of seeing, like, what the transition is more like. Because, like, I like Prisoners. Like, that movie's fun, even though I think it's not as good as people make it out to be. Like, it's good, but not, you know, people treat it like it's fucking
Is that
Citizen
the
Kane.
school shooter movie that he directed?
No.
Am I off base with that?
Polytechnique.
Okay.
Yeah, Prisoners
Okay,
is Jake Gyllenhaal plays a detective, and Hugh Jackman plays a guy whose daughter gets kidnapped, and, like,
Oh, he plays Liam Neeson. Sick.
basically he's like dialed up in that movie.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman is. He's like
I kind of like Hugh
screaming
Jackman.
and yelling and frothing at the
yeah.
mouth. Like, it's
He's full of
it's
Wolverine.
classic Paul Dano getting his shit rocked movie. Another guy who just gets his shit rocked in a lot of movies is Paul Dano.
Kind of like Paul Dano for that too, though.
Yeah. But
He's got
anyway,
a
we could
punchable
watch
face.
that movie someday.
Dano. Yeah.
He does. Yeah, he does.
Speaking of wanting to watch, I want to watch Mad Max. I've just been hearing a lot about them.
The new one or all? Oh yeah,
All
because you
of
haven't
them.
seen
All
any
of them.
of them.
I
Right?
haven't seen any of them. Right. And then, like, talking to Chris about it the other day with Waterworld, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to watch it. And, like, the new one sounds good. People have been talking about it recently, which, like, brought it back up. Hey, sounds good from what I heard. All right. We've got different sources. Lane's making a face.
Well, okay, first off, I'm going to say you watch a movie a week. So, like, you know, I don't want you to, if you're going to watch movies, I don't want you to be watching these ones for the next 2 years while you try to fit them into your schedule. So there's 5 Mad Max movies. I would say you don't need to watch the first one, the third one, or the newest one. I think the second one and the fourth one are the really good ones. So that's my plebe opinion, of course.
Okay.
I'm, like, not an action guy, but
And
those
the
are the best.
fourth one is Fury Road?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there's the original. It's so funny. The first Mad Max is like, gas is scarce. Climate change is happening. There's some, like, rebel bike riders who will, you know, like, maraud and thieve and rape and kill. And then by the, like, second movie, it's like, oh, we're just, like, everybody drives motorcycles and has a name, you know, like the Bloodsucker, and, like, you know what I mean? Like,
The huge mungus. Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. I didn't love Furiosa, the one that just came out.
Okay. Well.
I had some problems with it. It was still okay. It was fine. I think action fans will like it more.
Yeah.
I expected to like it more than I did, but
I was, like, harassed at the Philly Fan Expo. They were like, hey, like, don't you want to go watch Furiosa? I was like, not really. And they're like, you could get tickets. You get, like, popcorn
like, when you
with
hate
it.
women.
Yeah. they were, like, really trying to sell me. And they were like, and we'll do your makeup for free. And you can get, like, a t-shirt and, like, a poster for the movie.
You could have had your makeup done and you didn't do it. You could have had, like,
it
your
would
Mad
have done, like,
Max makeup.
Mad Max stuff.
Bro, what the fuck? You should have done that.
I would have had to wait for there were, like, people there doing it already, and I would have had to wait in line, and then I would have had to wait for them to do it, and then I'm like, I don't even really want to watch this movie, I'll be honest with you. So
That's fair. You didn't miss much.
But
I
started hearing more about it afterwards, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was like when it was first announced.
I was gonna say this was like
that was like my first time hearing of it. I was like, what the fuck is? I was like, another Mad Max movie, Furiosa. What's going on here?
It's so interesting that you're like the average moviegoer or like average consumer of movies. It's so funny to hear these things.
Only like 10% of Americans watch like a movie a week, one movie a week in theaters. Yeah.
Oh sure.
At least it's. I think it was like at least one or something. I don't know whether that was one per month or one per week, but I think it was one per week. Like weekly moviegoers. Back in the 20s, it was like 70%.
Well, back in the 20s,
or it's like 30s or 40s, whatever.
Yeah.
Like during whatever the like expansionary time period of
Yeah,
filmmaking
yeah.
was.
I'm not arguing with you. It's like if you hear people basically up until the 80s, movies were really cheap and really common, and so and they would play for a really long time. So you would, you know, even like people like our parents' age would go to the movies and like they would go and like catch the last 45 minutes of a movie, and then they would go back and see the first 45 minutes like another day. Like, you know, they would just go, like, it was a lot more like less of an event in a way where you could, and like that's part of the reason I think Titanic is one of the last movies where people like went back again and again and again. You know, people would go to see a movie because tickets weren't $20, you know, they didn't have Movie Pass. So you'd pay, you know, a quarter or whatever and you'd be able to get in. Anyway, so yeah, it doesn't surprise me. But also there was less shit. There's no TV. Like, you couldn't just turn your TV on at home.
Oh,
you
for
had to
sure.
Go out if you wanted to see pictures in a moving format.
And especially like there's a lot of like straight to streaming movies now, and there's like stuff like that, which are generally I guess considered flops. I don't know. But like a lot of like stream exclusive stuff. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Which is just, I don't know, interesting to me. It's really changed the landscape entirely. But yeah, movies being $20, it's like I saw some Twitter discourse about that, which I guess we could have opened with. But I can't believe people try to. I mean, I understand that people do like defend that, right? Like, yeah, it makes sense, and I'm not saying it's like, oh, like this is crazy, I'll never go watch a movie again. Like, no, it's like a fun treat, but it's definitely like, oh, this is like an event. It's something like to go out and do. Because like, I mean, even at cheapest,
it can be expensive.
Yeah, even at cheapest, it's like
$8-10.
Yeah, $10, and then like, gotta get some popcorn. And I mean, if you don't get any popcorn or any snacks or anything, and you just go in, bring in some snacks.
Okay.
Like
anybody who uses the I'm taking a fucking stand here.
Yeah.
Anybody who uses the but if you buy snacks, everything's $70. Just pack your shit into a bag. They're not checking that shit anymore. They don't care. They want you in the door. Like just sneak your snacks in.
The big thing's popcorn.
Okay, sure.
I love fresh hot popcorn. It's crazy.
Whatever. Pop it in the microwave at the fucking hotel next door and walk in. They're not going to care. Like, they're not going to smell it on you. Like, you know, just whatever.
It's different.
Like,
it hits different. Movie popcorn hits different. I kind of want to get a popcorn, like a fucking popcorn machine.
You're crazy. You're so insane.
I'll put it right in the little.
I know that you love popcorn because we have sat on the couch and eaten popcorn watching a movie, and then you'll be like, yo, do you want some more popcorn? I'm going to make a second bag.
No, because you had the kettle corn,
in
the
my
sweet
house.
kettle corn, swap it back and forth between the sweet and salty. Oh my god.
Crazy.
Do you remember the official number for bags eaten in one night?
What?
Do you remember like
Was
the
it
highest
two? Was
number?
It might have. I think it was 2. I don't know, man. I don't keep track.
It wasn't 2.
Was it 3? Was there 3?
It was over
4?
3.
What was?
It was like 7, bro.
What?
Yeah.
Bags of popcorn that we ate together?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
100%. Yeah.
We never
ate
7 bags of popcorn. You're crazy.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
What movie were we watching? Fucking Showa? Like what? Like that's
maybe it was
nuts.
5. I don't know. I just remember I was pretty high and like I kept asking for more popcorn.
It was definitely 3. It was definitely at most.
No,
3.
it was like 5. I kept asking for more popcorn over and over.
Next
again.
week is a special Lane's Frame.
To any of my family watching this, I was not high. I was just hungry. Thanks.
Listen, next week we're gonna be establishing some the bounds of fiction here on this next episode. Is what I'll say. How fictional this podcast is. So they're playing Hereditary at my local indie theater this week.
Uh-huh.
Have you have not seen that movie?
No.
Okay, we're gonna watch that movie.
Okay. Bet.
I need to assign you a mission here, and I've given Christopher this same mission too. I need you to you're not going to hate the movie. I don't want you to not like
I'm
the
going to
movie.
hate this fucking movie.
No. I don't think you'll hate the movie. Maybe you will. That's fine. My qualms with it are not the quality. I need you to come in with some jokes because this movie scares me really bad.
So you've seen this before?
I was like, I've seen this movie many times. This is one of my
many times. Sheesh. Okay.
Yes.
And it scares you every time.
It's still scared. It scared me last night when I thought about watching it again. I was sitting in bed at like 3 a.m., like leaning, like sitting up, like, should I do this to myself? Am I ready? Am I like in a psychologically sane and like stable enough place to watch this movie again? And I think that's fine. And I need some jokes.
That's the sort of existential crisis you have to save for like right outside of the theater, right? Like walking through the doors, like, am I ready? Like, can I do this? To brace yourself.
Do you know anything about this movie at all?
No, not really.
Okay. Don't look. Obviously, you don't look anything up anyway, so don't look up anything about this movie. And I won't say anything else other than it's really scary. So if you watch it, listeners at home, please feel free to come in and make jokes about it. But yeah, it is on HBO, so have fun. Hereditary, 2018, directed by Ari Aster. I think there's a lot to talk about here. I do think this is an excellent movie, one I'm excited to rewatch, even though I'm a little nervous. We'll see how I make it.
Hey, as long as you want to rewatch.
I do. We want to rewatch. Well, no, because you have not seen it.
No, so it's just me want to watch. Yeah. You want to rewatch.
Me want. Caveman Ricky. Me want to watch.
Me want to watch it.
But yeah, okay. I'm really excited to talk about it. It'll be fun. I think
it'll be sweet.
I have a long history with this movie. I've got a lot, a lot of feelings. So it'll be good.
Cool. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Okay. What was the song that we were singing earlier? I said Sicario, but there was something else too.
Something. I'm Timmy. Tim. What's his name?
Oh, Timmy Chalamet. Yeah, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to look up the Timmy Tim rap lyrics and rap them into the mic here?
You insist, right?
I actually didn't. I posed a question to you, but...
If you insist, Lane. I can't do that.
You not only can you really need to now that you said that. Nope, I'm sorry, you've got to...
It's time to do my dance. Timmy, pull up your pants. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Oui, je suis from France. It's little Timmy Tim. I am a boss. Oh, you really like my shirt? Should I take it off? See me with a girl, you know it's getting cuddly. See me in the hallway, you know I hit my Dougie. Is this not it?
I'm looking for the Hell's Kitchen one.
I think this is the same one. Maybe it's a different verse.
Oh my god, how many are there?
I don't know. Here it just says, the song continues with Lil Timmy Tim calling out his inner demons as he impersonates the alter ego Roman Zelensky and sings Roman Revenge by Nicki Minaj.
Oh.
Maybe this is a different
Roman
one.
Zelensky.
My bad.
It is, because I think he was on Lip Sync Battle or something. He was on one of those boomer late night shows. Anyway, I'm ending it with WAP because I'm seeing Megan tomorrow night. So
fair.
Shout out Megan Thee Stallion.
Gobble me, swallow me, drip down inside of me. Quick jump out for you, let it get inside of me. I tell them where to put it, never tell them where I'm about to be. I run down on them before I have a nigga running me. Talk your shit, bite your lip. Ask for a call while you ride that dick. Why you really ain't never got him fucking for a thing. He already made his mind up before he came. Now get your boots, hang your coat for this wet ass pussy. He bought a phone just for pictures of this wet ass pussy. Pay my tuition just to kiss me on this wet ass pussy. Now make it rain if you wanna see some wet ass pussy. Now make it rain.